Hey everybody, Wrenching with Bob here. I'm going to do kind of a quick take here on BMW F850GS rear wheel installation.
Sun's up, tools out, got some work to do. Grease on my hands is nothing new. Bolts turn, gears grind, spark plugs fire. Wrenching with Bob, fixing what you ride. Tighten it up, tune it just right. Rolling that throttle, let's ride tonight, tonight. Oh, wrenching tight, giving your bike a brand new shine. From oil to wires, clutch to tires, wrenching with Bob, keep your ride alive.
So I just changed tires, and I know that I've been caught with some frustration trying to get that get the rotor threaded in to where everything will fit, and getting it past the calipers and all that jazz. It's a tight fit, and I've learned a couple tricks, and hopefully I'll show them to you today and not the frustration part. So here's the patient. Number one, what everybody has to do is make sure that these brake pads are spread. But the other piece is that this whole unit here slides up and down the swing arm, and there's just not much space in this direction here. And so you really have to angle the wheel in like this and come around in order to get that thing in there. All right, so I tend to do this from a seated position, and then basically this guy actually moves a little bit and gives you a chance to get in there. So what's happened is that the rim is now clear of the caliper, and so I've just threaded that past there at a pretty severe angle. And then once you're past it, right, the spokes and stuff, they start digging deeper into the crisscross pattern, and so you wind up with a whole bunch of space in there with which to get the whole tire and wheel lined up to then do the second part, which is to get it to get the rotor here in between the brake calipers, or the brake pads here, right, that we have just spread. And so that's the next task. An item of note before I go off and do that, this guy here, this is a cap that comes off. A, make sure it's there, but B, know that it can come off. And so this can get to be a really tight booger at just the wrong moment. And sometimes I have had to remove this, get things lined up just right, and then put it back in just before, you know, you kind of run out of space, basically, before you shove the whole wheel forward. So just know that. Same sort of thing over here. This guy comes off and can go back in secondarily if you need just a little bit of space to maneuver. The wheel now is a little free to move, but again, on the left side, it's less free. So tipping the wheel, which isn't necessarily intuitive, tipping the wheel like this at the bottom where it's sitting on the ground can be a big help, and that's what just got me sort of around the corner. So then once you're kind of lined up, what you want to do is preferably to bring the rotor assembly and everything backwards so that the holes line up here for the axle, right? And you're going to get to the point where you're almost in the rotor, and sure enough, there I am. I'm actually in the rotor now. Right, so the rotor is in the brake pads. So at this point, I'm gonna grease the axle with just a light coating of grease, and then I'm just gonna have it rest here at the edge, and then I'm gonna lift the wheel up, put my heels underneath the wheel to get things relatively lined up. The only other thing I'd say is make sure that this doesn't, when you put this in, if it goes beyond the left edge of this piece that holds the caliper, then it will get in the way of that little ring getting in there smoothly. There's very, very little clearance there. I mean, it's like a millimeter in total between the two sides. So you'll catch the edge of that thing and you'll drag it out of there, basically, is what'll happen. And that can be frustrating. So I'm going to try and get this lined up now that I'm in the brake pads. And just put my feet under there. Right, I've just got my heels underneath there, and that way I can use my feet to help to lift and move and that works really well. You almost get an extra pair of hands out of the whole operation, which is exactly what you need half the time. So there it is, and axle is starting to peek out this side, right? So now this is a matter of shove the wheel all the way forward, put the chain on to get your slack, and then bring it back, and then start retightening your chain tensioners here and over there, and then you know, check your chain slack per spec, and away you go. So that's the scoop. Wrenching with Bob. Hope you enjoyed this and hope it was helpful. I know I've done the rear wheel change before, but I think I did it with a lot of the frustration that a lot of folks on the F850 and F750 have had, that there's just very little clearance in there. And that's a nice, easy way to do it if you know how to do it.